Good morning, loves. I continue to be where I can't put my feel good videos up right now. I just can't do it. Um, I've been hoping for some kind of miracle that this thing won't come through, and I don't know what's going to happen. There's a possibility that maybe something will happen and he won't take office. But at this point, I don't have a lot of confidence in the Democratic Party that they will do anything about anything. They just kind of, um, it's made me wonder if it's like, I don't even know how this thing works. Like, um, it's made me wonder if they don't just, you know, have a show of an election, kind of like the show of the fight between, like, what is his name, Jake something, and Tyson. Maybe they just like had this like pretend election to make us all think that we have a say. Um, because if they don't do anything, it sure seems like that to me. As I'm feeling like pretty alone, in my community and in the world. I want to talk about my thoughts on this thing, because they are grounded in reality. Actually, um, as I lived through the first Trump regime, uh, and and the things that he did. Um, and the plans that they have for us, like, especially women and people, this whole idea that that having compassion for people who are marginalized, people who have not had the same opportunities in this world, that somehow having compassion and setting up laws that would help them is a bad thing, you know. I was like giving this example of, it seems like something kind of trite, but like there was a case that came across the Supreme Court not that long ago. I think in the last, I don't know, 4 years maybe, where this gay couple wanted to buy a cake for their wedding, and the cake baking company did not want to bake the cake for them on their religious freedom. So they could discriminate against you on their religious freedom and deny baking you a cake. Well, that all seems really well and good, if you can go to another place and get a cake baked. But what if no cake bakers in your area are willing to bake you a cake based on their freedom of religion? So their freedom to actually discriminate against you, and it's not just gay people, it's like people with any color in their skin, and women are in here too, that they're not able to discriminate based on sex, race, gender, and ability. They're not supposed to be able to discriminate against you on a disability. And somehow having compassion for other people has become like, Trump is and his people are talking about getting rid of generals in the armed forces who would be acting on these laws that are set up to discriminate against people. And so these people are actually not discriminating, and he wants to get rid of these people because they're too, quote unquote, woke, which I'm not even entirely sure what that term means exactly, but so it seems that there is this, it turned from Project 2025 to America First. This document, this lovely document that I talked about in a previous, all of the ending no-fault divorce, banning contraceptives, eliminating the Department of Education, teaching religious beliefs in schools, end marriage equality, use of the military. This is the one. Use of the military to break up domestic protests. And this was one that I actually, got in like a little bit of an argument with somebody in my circle about this, because they seem to have no problem with the people who stormed the Capitol. They see them as patriots, and somehow theirs was a righteous protest somehow, like, and excusing like people being killed. There are people that died, and they smeared fecal matter on the halls of Congress in a very undignified, and erected a noose and planned to kill the vice president. But we should by any means remove the protesters in Austin, Texas, who were protesting a genocide. So these young people should be removed, but the people that stormed the Capitol shouldn't even face any consequences, because, they're quote unquote patriots. But the idea of us not being able to protest is very bothersome to me. It is really, because I have at times protested, and I've been at women's protests, because I don't want the women in my life to not have the same rights that I have had. And these were rights that were fought for. It's like you want to say, oh, what women's rights are going away? Well, the right to have care in a pregnancy has gone away. The right to a procedure when they're bleeding out during pregnancy has gone away. And women are dying. And instead of facing the fact that women are dying, they're getting rid of the panels that are doing research on the effects of these bans, instead of dealing with the real problem. Because, and I'm not even entirely sure exactly what it's about. I think because these are not all women who are just being quote unquote irresponsible, and I'm not even going to get into that, because that's not even what I'm arguing about. I mean, forcing an 11-year-old to give birth to their uncle's baby is just horrible to me. It's just horrible, horrible. There's been 60,000 women who have been forced to carry their rapist baby, and I think 27,000 of them were in Texas. I just don't understand just the like willful, just turning a blind eye, sticking the head in the sand, about the fact that this is happening. And they want to take away more rights from women. And I believe that in time it will be the right to vote. That women will lose their right to vote. They will lose their right to have a checking account. They'll lose their right to leave an abusive marriage. It's all well and good until something happens. And the irony of it all is that I see so often that it's this kind of marriage that leads to the abuse. It's this kind of marriage that they don't want no-fault divorce. They don't want you to be able to leave them that is the marriage that we're talking about. We're not talking about men that are kind and loving. We're talking about men that want to entrap women, do whatever they want to them. You know, I know this is a bit of an aside, but it's kind of not. So I was paying really close attention during the last regime, and and I noticed something really bizarre that came across in Russia. Decriminalization of domestic violence. In 2017, with the support of the Russian Orthodox Church, Russia decriminalized domestic violence in cases where it does not cause, quote unquote, substantial bodily harm, such as broken bones or a concussion, and doesn't happen more than once a year. So if he beats you once a year, it's okay. It's legal to beat your wife. I wonder what the domestic violence laws are here in the U.S. Want to be able to beat women, not let them have any rights. You can see I'm not happy. And so, I was feeling a little bit better yesterday. I kind of woke up a little bit more just hopeful in my own life, and maybe just focusing on my own goals. But I also feel like I can't just go on as life is normal like everybody else is. Everybody's just acting like he's already the president, and he's not. And like everything is just hunky-dory, when it seems clear to me that what was said before was actually true. He intends to just completely dismantle the United States government. Every aspect of it. Just completely destroy any semblance of justice. There will be no more justice in the United States. It'll just be a lawless place to be. It's just devastating. And I hope I'm wrong, but I anticipate this is going to be a really, really rough time, and I don't know if we'll ever be able to come back for it. I mean, in my lifetime. And so, sorry for the doom and gloom. Love you guys.